Wedged into the middle of the great novel The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Victor Hugo pauses the narrative to philosophize on the ancient significance of architecture. From the beginning of time, he says, cultures of the earth wrote their thoughts with rock. They made words by superimposing stone upon stone. The Celtic dolma and cromlech, the Etruscan tumulus, the Hebrew galgal are words. Sometimes on a vast beach, they joined these stone words and wrote a sentence. The traditions had given birth to symbols under which they disappeared like the trunk of a tree under its foliage, and the rock symbols had need to expand into a structure. In this way, he says, architecture developed concomitantly with human thought, reflected by the great styles of the era and by the political and social revolutions. Hindu architecture gave way to Phoenician, Egyptian to Greek, and Romanesque to Gothic. Locked into the walls of these temples, palaces, and churches, a civilization could launch what it knew into the future, confident that only the greatest upheavals and natural disasters might dislodge it from the earth. But as Notre Dame makes clear, the Gothic period was the final page in this important epoch of architecture. The advent of the printing press by Johannes Gutenberg changed everything. In printed books, ideas found an even more durable capsule for transmission into posterity, one that costed far less to produce and one that could be copied and sent across the world. The rise of the printing press mirrors the decline of architecture as the dominant aesthetic form. On Tumblr last week, and this is what got me thinking about this topic, the Cajun Cavalier asked me what role I thought architecture plays in society besides that of being a defense against the elements. And it seems to me that these days architecture is governed, like most arts, by pluralism. There is no consensus, nor perhaps need there be, as to a representative style of the age. The eras that came after the sunset of the Renaissance were very reactionary to the revivals of the past and sought to create a new aesthetic following from first the functionalist objectivity of modernism and then the psychological subjectivity of postmodernism. After just major urban expansion that greatly emphasized the function of structures over aesthetic, or function as aesthetic, contemporary architectural concerns seem largely to deal with our society's next great challenge, sustainability, or integration with the environment. And that's a concern that has to be met with action. But it seems to me, and I may be wrong about this, that there is a gross underemphasis of the power that architecture plays on our consciousness and culture. The demarcation of physical spaces, the spatial arrangement of inside and outside, what's communal, what's private in an urban environment, have a massive effect on the way we see ourselves and our place in the society at large. What does it mean to live in a cramped studio apartment in Manhattan? What does it mean to live in suburbia among cookie-cutter homes with perfect lawns? The utilitarian function of architecture is so obvious that it almost disappears into the background, or rather, it disappears as the background. And when we let it do so, when architecture becomes invisible to us, its influence, for good or bad, becomes invisible as well. In the inner city where I live, demand is so high for livable spaces. New structures are built with such rapidity that it's impossible to imagine any kind of central architectural theory winning out. That's pluralism at work, tolerant but messy, inclusive but alienating. The period after postmodernism has gone mostly undefined. I don't know if a school of architecture will ever again rise to cultural predominance, just like I don't know if we'll ever have a classic literature with the same weight as Shakespeare or F. Scott Fitzgerald. But if there ever was a time, Cajun Cavalier, for a new architecture, a new idea, a new choreography of space and humanity, it would be in the void of now. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. As you know, a lot of time and research goes into the making of these videos, so I want to thank the good people at audible.com for sponsoring this one and allowing me to do all that research and spend all of that time. If you haven't heard about it, audible.com is awesome. They're the leading provider in audiobooks with over 150,000 titles, fiction, nonfiction, periodicals, everything. And if you go to my URL, audible.com/Evan, you'll get a 30-day free trial and one free audiobook. That's a great opportunity to learn more about architecture, but in this case, I'm going to recommend The Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo. It is an amazing book. It's a classic, and it's, by the way, some way darker and better than the Disney version. And also, I went to the site and checked. It's read by George Guidall, who is one of the masters of audiobooks, and I might just listen to it again just to hear him do it. They have a free app, so you can download it and put it on your phone, which is what I usually do. Listen to it on the subway, or I'll listen to it like in my bed before I go to sleep. For some reason, that's soothing to me. So go to audible.com/Evan, get The Hunchback of Notre Dame on me. I do want to mention that the idea for this video came from the Cajun Cavalier on Tumblr. Last week I did a video on video games, and all week long we were having conversations about it, me and all the people who watch this video. So I want to thank all of you. You've been commenting in the video below. You've been asking me anything on Tumblr where I can sort of expand on things a little bit more. So keep doing that, and I will see you next Friday.